In the bustling heart of New York City, where skyscrapers pierced the clouds like arrogant fingers, Alexander Voss stumbled, literally. The billionaire CEO of Voss, a man whose net worth could buy small countries, was jogging through Central Park at dawn, his mind a whirlwind of board meetings and stock fluctuations. Distracted by an urgent email on his smartwatch, he didn't see the uneven path ahead. His foot caught on a loose stone, and he tumbled forward, crashing right into a man sitting on a bench, cradling a sleeping child in his arms. Papers flew everywhere, resumes, bills, a child's drawing. The impact knocked the wind out of both men, but it was the quiet word that followed that would rewrite their destinies. "Sorry," the stranger whispered, not in anger, but with a weary kindness that pierced Alexander's armored soul. Little did he know, that one word would spark a chain of events forever altering two lives. If this story tugs at your heartstrings already, hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of unexpected miracles, because you never know when life might tumble you into something extraordinary. Alexander Voss wasn't used to apologies. At 45, he commanded boardrooms with a glance, his life a meticulously curated empire of luxury penthouses, private jets, and fleeting relationships that never breached his emotional walls. Orphaned young and raised in foster care, he'd clawed his way to the top through sheer grit, believing vulnerability was a weakness. That morning, as he scrambled to his feet, brushing dirt from his designer tracksuit, he met the eyes of Michael Harper. Michael, 32, was the polar opposite, a single dad fighting a losing battle against the world. His wife, Emily, had died 2 years earlier in a car accident, leaving him with their son, Tommy, a bright-eyed 5-year-old with a rare heart condition that drained their savings faster than Michael could earn them. Working as a barista by day and a delivery driver by night, Michael barely scraped by, often skipping meals so Tommy could eat. The bench in Central Park was their quiet refuge, a place to watch the sunrise before another grueling day. "Are you okay?" Alexander asked, more out of reflex than concern, as he helped gather the scattered papers. Michael's face was etched with exhaustion, dark circles under his eyes like bruises from life's relentless punches. Tommy stirred in his lap, clutching a worn teddy bear. "We're fine," Michael replied softly, but his voice cracked just enough to reveal the lie. Alexander noticed the resumes, dozens of them, for jobs Michael was overqualified for but desperate enough to beg. One caught his eye, a faded engineering degree from a community college, buried under years of hardship. Something stirred in Alexander, a flicker of recognition from his own impoverished past. He could have walked away, as he always did from inconveniences. But instead, he sat down. "Rough morning," he ventured. Michael hesitated, then nodded. "Every morning's rough when you're one paycheck from homelessness." He spoke without self-pity, just raw honesty. Tommy woke then, rubbing his eyes and smiling up at the stranger. "Hi, mister. Did you fall? Daddy says falling means you get back up stronger." Those innocent words hit Alexander like a freight train. He, who had built an empire on never falling, felt exposed. They talked for an hour, Michael sharing stories of Emily's laughter, Tommy's dreams of becoming a doctor to fix hearts like mine, and the endless medical bills that threatened to evict them from their tiny apartment. Alexander listened, really listened, for the first time in years. As the sun climbed higher, he handed Michael his business card. "Call me if you need anything," he said, but it felt hollow even to him. Days turned into a week, and Alexander couldn't shake the encounter. His penthouse felt emptier, his successes hollower. He buried himself in work, launching a new AI division that promised billions, but at night, he replayed Tommy's words. Then, the call came. Michael's voice was strained, "Tommy's in the hospital. His heart, it's worsening. I don't know what to do." Alexander didn't hesitate. He arrived at the pediatric ward in his chauffeured car, finding Michael pacing outside the room, tears streaming down his face. "The surgery costs more than I'll ever make," Michael confessed. "Insurance won't cover it all." Alexander's mind raced, numbers, solutions, the language he knew best. He paid for the surgery anonymously at first, wiring funds through a foundation. But when Tommy pulled through, weak but smiling, Alexander visited. Why? Michael asked, gratitude mixing with suspicion. That question cracked Alexander's facade. Over coffee in the hospital cafeteria, he opened up, about his lonely childhood, the foster homes where kindness was a rarity, how he'd vowed never to need anyone. I tumbled into you that day, he admitted, and it reminded me I've been falling my whole life, just pretending I wasn't. Michael listened, then said quietly, strength isn't in standing alone, Alex. It's in letting others help you stand. Those words, that one quiet insight, shifted everything. Alexander saw his empire for what it was, a fortress against pain, but also against joy. What followed was a whirlwind of change, fraught with challenges that tested both men. Michael, proud and independent, resisted Alexander's offers at first. I don't want charity, he insisted. But Alexander proposed a job, leading a new initiative at Voss for affordable tech solutions in healthcare, drawing on Michael's engineering background. Michael accepted, but the transition was rocky. Colleagues whispered about nepotism, and Michael struggled with imposter syndrome, doubting his place among Ivy League elites. Meanwhile, Tommy's recovery was slow, infection set in, nights spent in hospitals where fear clawed at Michael's heart. Alexander, unused to emotional investment, panicked during one scare, realizing how deeply he'd come to care for this makeshift family. Personal demons surfaced too. Alexander's ex-fiancée resurfaced in tabloids, accusing him of emotional unavailability, a truth that stung. He confided in Michael during a late-night drive, admitting, I've built walls so high, I don't know how to tear them down. Michael shared his own grief over Emily, the guilt of moving forward. Life doesn't erase the pain, he said. It just makes room for new light. Their bond deepened through shared vulnerabilities. Alexander mentored Michael at work, but Michael taught Alexander about fatherhood, simple joys like reading bedtime stories to Tommy, who now called him Uncle Alex. Challenges mounted. A corporate rival tried to sabotage Vosteka's healthcare project, leaking false info about favoritism. Michael faced eviction notices from past debts, and Tommy's therapy sessions revealed his fears of losing his dad like his mom. Yet, resolutions came through perseverance and connection. Alexander used his influence to counter the sabotage, turning the project into a success that provided low-cost heart monitors for families like Michael's. He paid off the debts quietly, but insisted Michael repay through mentorship programs for struggling engineers. Tommy's health improved steadily, his laughter filling Alexander's once sterile penthouse during weekend visits. One evening, as they watched the city lights from the rooftop, Michael turned to Alexander. That day in the park, when you fell. I was at my lowest. Your sorry wasn't just words, it was a door opening. Alexander smiled. And your quiet strength showed me what I've been missing. Months blurred into years. Vosteka's healthcare division boomed, saving countless lives and earning Alexander not just profits, but purpose. Michael rose to VP, his ideas revolutionizing accessible tech. Tommy, now 10, thrived, his heart mended, his dreams alive. Alexander found love again, but more importantly, family in Michael and Tommy. He established a foundation for single parents, inspired by their story. On Tommy's birthday, surrounded by friends, Alexander raised a toast, life tumbles us all, but it's the quiet words, the sorries, the helps, the I understands, that lift us higher. As the sun set on their transformed lives, the message was clear: true wealth isn't in bank accounts or titles, but in the courage to connect, to fall and rise together. In a world of isolation, one act of kindness can change everything. If this story moved you, remember, hit like if it resonated, and subscribe for more inspiring tales. Because your next tumble might just lead to your greatest rise.